Hey Virgo, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so we take what works and we leave what doesn't. And if I don't catch your wavelength on this reading, go check your other major placements and see if I don't catch something, your storyline over there. And I will be posting the, unless I forget, I will be posting the picture of the spreads at the end, the pictures at the end. So, all right, we're starting with this intuitive vibe from the Oracle of Mystical Moments deck. And I want to say about this deck, the Oracle Mystical Moments, the tarot tends to tell more of a story and have a storyline. And the Oracle has these cards. And I feel like all the cards can be a little bit true all of the time. But the cards that are popping out are popping out for a reason for you this week, and they're what you need to pay particular attention to. So a lot of the cards have just kind of some general truths to them. But these one, but the point of this is that they're calling your attention. The cards are calling your attention to something specific in particular that's relevant to your life right now, and that needs your attention. Okay, we have change of seasons here. So this is you kind of standing still and everything around you changing. So this feels sometimes like a major arcana card for this oracle deck. Just you're standing there and it's spring and it's fall and it's everything going on all around you. You might be feeling a little vulnerable because when these big changes come through our lives, we can kind of feel like we've been stripped down to our underwear. And be feeling a little vulnerable, but you know, your job is just, you're just standing here, and the nature of the world is changing all around you, and you're experiencing the changes. And this card tends to be about, it can reference physical changes around you, like moving or new jobs or new people in your life, and just something, in your physical environment changing. And you standing sort of at the center of that and just kind of experiencing those changes. We have Miss Sunshine here. So here we have this structure down here that can be a little bit heavy. It might be some depression. It might be some anxiety. It could be some sort of structure in your life that's just difficult to deal with. But it's sort of like this baked in thing. It's just part of the structure of who you are, or the difficulty, some sort of difficulty, some sort of heaviness that's just kind of always going to be a part of your life. This could be, you know, a loved one that deals with mental illness all the time, or a drug addiction that someone you care about has, or your own depression or something. So there's something that's kind of weighing you down. But here you are, you've made a choice to be positive. It's called Miss Sunshine. So you've made a choice to really think positively and be more optimistic. This is going to pull you up and elevate you. So you've made decisions to, I want to say, love your life unconditionally, even though there is this like heaviness or this difficulty that could always just be with you, and it's just sort of part of the structure of your life. As you rise up, though, some of this, if this is subconscious stuff or you know, heavier issues, they may come to light more as you gain more positivity. One thing that can happen with that is you become more and more willing to shine the light into the darker corners of your life, to the more difficult places, to the more difficult, maybe even secretive places of your subconscious, because you're gaining, as you're more positive, you gain in confidence and all sorts of things. So you may be rising up here, and then the light's going to start shining into here. That can be a little bit uncomfortable, but really important, and will give you a better idea of sort of the structure of what's the underbelly of you know, sort of the secret underbelly going on here. What is this? So, but right now you've made a choice to be positive and to be, choose to love your life as is, despite even this, you know, and that too is going to come into the light, and you might even be able to love that aspect, or if not love it, at least like feel it and understand it, that it's part of it's part of who you are and how you came to be this way. And so, all right. And then we have, I think this is like our third week in the row for you guys, maybe, with this. I could be remembering that wrong. But here we have, can you hear me? This is communication difficulties, maybe some exhaustion, some frustration in communicating. You don't feel like you can get something across here, sort of across this distance. And it's very deeply emotional. Your emotions have changed, have grown, I want to say. Here we have the snail card, the snail shape, which is that spiral shape, which is referencing, returning back to a similar place or some place we've been before, and we turn back to that place over and over again, and we grow and we have different perspectives on it. Each time we come back around the circle, we're a little bit more grown and have a little bit, and that's how the spiral emerges, is this circular sort of growth. So we have another spiral card in here where it references intellectual growth, understanding. This is emotional growth, and it's like you come back around to some sort of place in this cycle. And because we all have our cycles and we all have our issues, I sometimes feel like by your late 20s, you should understand, what the issues, what your personal demons are, what are the cycles you'll be going through in this lifetime, what are the things that you'll need that will come up for you again and again, and then each time you're wiser, you're better in how you deal with it. So it is some sort of emotional issue, and maybe it's one. It appears like it's one, again, both of these have something sort of secretive in the dark down here that's not being exposed. It's not easy to see. And it looks like it could be an emotional issue, and you're growing, but then there's this added frustration with communicating. Maybe you need to communicate, you're trying to communicate how you've grown and changed. And communication, of course, is just a game of catch. We've got a throwing, we've got catching, back and forth, back and forth. And if you're crappy at throwing, you're not even trying to throw in the direction of your catcher. You don't want to throw. You just put the ball down and walk away. So that's one way communication can go wrong. The other way is that the catcher can just not have... not turn away, be facing the wrong direction, be not paying any attention, all that kind of stuff. So we've got communication, somehow there's some sort of exhaustion, frustration, tiredness, maybe even a sense of depression about it, of just like, I don't know how I'm going to communicate. Maybe you don't have the energy to blow on this conch shell and communicate. Maybe you're just feeling a little hopeless about the possibility of communicating, especially something down here from this level of depth, which is just hidden from the naked eye anyway. So, and how do you communicate what can't be seen? What's beneath the surface like that? All right, Virgo. This is your past, your present, your inner landscape, what's at issue, your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. Well, there you are, Virgo, the Hermit. All right, in your recent past, you had possibly an offer come in, but you were already full. You were already sort of drunk on these other offers, or you'd had enough. You've had enough of this, and you weren't. I think we've been here before too, and you weren't thirsty when the offer came in. You were full up. You'd already drunk 3 full cups full. Maybe you didn't see it as an offer coming in, an emotional offer for connection or something like that. Maybe you didn't understand that that's what it was. You might not have even been in a position to see. I mean, his eyes are closed. When your eyes are closed, it's not even like you're rejecting something. You're just literally not seeing it. So you might have brought an offer into somebody else that just didn't quite see it and understand it. That's where this is coming in here. This attempt at emotional communication here that's just not being received. So you either offered that and it was not received, or it was offered to you and you just you maybe couldn't even see it because you'd already drunk these 3 cups and were passed out on the tree and just not able to even even you just didn't see the offer coming. And I don't feel like this is so much a rejection. It's just so much of like already having a plate full, already having a lot, already having had a lot to drink and just not being thirsty in whatever way you want to take that. But this would definitely be like an exhausting communication issue for whoever's offering this. And then this person's just is like, hello, hello. And then this person's just like already exhausted from what's already going on here, doesn't need more on their plate. And the cups are emotion and feeling. So it was some sort of emotional connection was attempted by either you or somebody else, and it was not received. Probably not maliciously, just maybe even wasn't even able to be acknowledged or seen. So this is exactly this card. Like if you've tried to bring in some sort of emotional connection, it just wasn't seen, or there's just a sense of exhaustion around a emotional connection that wasn't able to be accepted or received. In your present situation, you have the Hermit card. So this could be you, a vibe in your life, somebody else, but this is someone who's just looking to their own inner light, trying to understand, I think, a little bit of who they are and what role they play in this life. The Hermit can only see a few steps ahead, and he is, of course, alone by himself. This is the Virgo card. He is by himself and paying attention to his own North Star, trying to get in touch with that guidance, that solitary, unique inner guidance that we all come with. I see a bell on his walking stick here. So he's not trying to be secretive or anything, but it is some slow going, and it is just trusting in himself, getting in touch with who he is as a person, what he wants out of life, and it is a solitary solo thing, journey that is in your life right now. So. Yeah, and then in your inner landscape, this is like inner conflict. So you could be very conflicted dealing with just an inner conflict in your inner landscape. This could also be being afraid of conflict, not wanting to create conflict, not wanting to, if you openly disagree with somebody or openly state something, it could create a lot of conflict. So you could be worried about conflict, and you could be conflicted about conflict, and you could be having a little bit of a skirmish inside yourself, feeling conflicted right here. And then what's at issue here is we have the Knight of Pentacles, but we take him in the reverse. So it's the Knight of Pentacles gone wrong. So the Knight of Pentacles usually is slow, stable, a little bit stubborn, very stable though, very well grounded, looking back on the past and all the work that's gone on and all the effort, and really understanding money, stability. But in the reverse, the Knight of Pentacles is very stubborn, overly like no movement. So the Knight of Pentacles is supposed to be, some plodding movement. It's very grounded. Each footstep grounds. Each footstep moves forward, very grounded, slowly. So this is that energy, except you just something's not moving forward at all. It was supposed to move forward in this slow, grounding, step-by-step process, and it's just simply not. There's a stubbornness, a refusal to move forward, it just stopped. I mean, this Hermit energy could be part of this too, like just being solitary. But the Hermit, he's got his walking stick, implying what? That he's walking, right? And he is moving. He's moving. He can only see a few steps ahead, so he's not going to move. When it's foggy out and you can't see very clearly, you do kind of slow down. You're still trying to you don't park in the middle of the road because that wouldn't be safe, because the other people around you can't see either. So you don't stop when you can't see very far ahead, but you do slow down, because the last thing you want, oh my gosh, yeah, this reminds me of, for some reason, when I was in my 3rd trimester of my first pregnancy, I went to India and I traveled around India. It was not a good idea. I do not recommend it. It was incredibly stressful on my body. But I rode a bike. And my bike had one of those lights on it that turn on as you're riding. So I was riding in the evening. Okay, I was riding at night. And and my light wasn't really working. So I had to go fast in order to get it so that I could see something. So I went faster, trying to make my light brighter, and missed a turn, obviously, because I could barely see, and went into a big thorny bush. I don't know what being pregnant has to do with that, but it kind of just adds, I think, to the imagery and the hilarity of it. Anyway, after that, I got a moped. But anyway, so that's a little bit of the vibe I'm getting here. No, that's not. Where did that story come from? Why did I tell you that? Oh, because this guy can't move very fast. Because even though his light might be not the brightest, he's smarter than I am and understands that you can't go super fast when you can't see very far in the future. But we're contrasting with this energy, which is no movement at all. Like, just no movement. Just stuck. I don't know why I told you that story. There's a reason why I told you that story. I don't know what it is. You figure it out. But it came in my mind like a wrecking ball, I guess is what we're saying. So yeah. And then, so in your environment, there's this pause energy. It could be quarantine, coronavirus, just there's a big pause here. Nap time. It's preparations for the future, though. It's not like whatever we're talking about here, be it a relationship or a career or whatever situation you're identifying this with in your life, which is really funny because these two cards don't make sense that much. I mean, maybe your pause, but this whole world is changing. Actually, well, with coronavirus, the whole world really is changing. A lot's changing very quickly in our whole world. But this is also a pause, stop, stasis, taking a nap. There is a point to it. The point is, one, we were exhausted from the battles that we've just fought. Two, so we needed a nap, right? That's part of living is taking a rest, is resting and resting up. And part of preparing for our future is resting up for the future. And then there's a sense too of planning here for what's the next step. Okay, this whole section of my life is over now. That's all completely done. I'm going to nap. That day is done. That chapter is over. We're going to have half a blank page before we start the next chapter, right? Because the next chapter starts in the middle of the next page. So we have half of a blank page. This is resting in our life for the next bit. So then we can start the next chapter. We breathe in or we exhale. This would be more of an exhale. Pause the breath, inhale, and prepare for the inhale. So there's some things on pause, but it's for the purpose of preparation, something and thinking about, and maybe part of it's rest and part of it begins to be planning for what's next. We came home from war, we survived, we're going to rest for a little while before we figure out what do we want to do now. The energy you need to come into is dealing with subconscious issues. Oh my gosh, and this is coming in very clear here too. We have the moon card. The moon is about subconscious issues. I want to say intuition too, but I think more in this card in particular, we have this roiling school of fish down here, these emotions, and there's a lot underneath the surface here, and we're getting that too here. I mean, basically, they're sitting on this water, this big thing, this big emotional thing down here. You've got something in your subconscious that is preventing the movement forward and possibly preventing you from seeing further, and how you get out of this pause, right? So we're not moving forward at all. We're in a pause. You have a pause situation going on in your life. There's a lot of stasis here. I'm not saying this one's referencing a little bit of toxicity or stagnation, and this one's referencing like a healthy stasis, and these two both reference like a pause that's healthy, but it should be moving forward at least a little bit, or at least looking towards moving forward, but it's completely stopped with this reverse Knight of Pentacles. So then we have this subconscious issues are at work here. And so, oh my God, and that's exactly what we were talking about this. So some things down here, some sort of structure, subconscious structure that's hard to see. Like you can't even see it from up here. I don't know that you'll ever be able to see it, but it needs to come into the light. It needs to and how you do that is going to be through some positive thinking, through some optimism. You're going to bring these subconscious issues that you're sitting on to light. Right? She's in total darkness here, and she's got this massive roiling thing of subconscious issues that need to be dealt with and examined. And we get that with 3 cards here. So if you were trying to avoid some sort of subconscious issues, sorry, you watched this video and now you are very much aware that that's what's going on here. That's what has everything stopped. In the possible outcome here, we have the Lovers. So if we're talking about a relationship, this could be talking about the Lovers. It can feel like a strong kindred spirit, but the Lovers overall is about a choice. And it is, with the romance theme, let's talk about Romeo and Juliet. This is a choice, an illogical choice. Romeo and Juliet were not supposed to be dating. Their families were feuding. They went ahead, went with their love anyway. It turned out in tragedy, but it doesn't have to. But they went ahead with that, even though it didn't make sense, even though their families weren't supportive. So this is about that choice. If we're talking career, we're talking like a choice between a career that makes a hell of a lot of sense on paper, but has no passion for you. You're not excited about it. You're just picking it because you have to, and that's what makes sense. This is the illogical choice. This is the choice that so this is about needing to make, once you deal with your subconscious issues, you may find that some sort of choice comes up, some sort of decision that you need to make comes up. And your choice is between the choice of heart and intuition and the path that calls your heart, even though it doesn't make sense and is completely illogical and is in some ways just absurd and not part of the plan, not part of anything, doesn't make any sense, but your heart's really calling you towards it. Like Romeo and Juliet, that relationship doesn't make sense in the worlds that they lived in. So, or, are you going to go with something that makes sense, that you can explain to people, that no one's going to be shocked or surprised by? Your families will both be like, yeah, we approve an arranged marriage or a love match. That's what we're talking about here. And it could be career, it could be relationships. So as you deal with these subconscious issues, look at the subconscious issues coming forward. So overall, we just have a big ass pause going on here and a bunch of subconscious issues that need to be dealt with, and then that will lead to needing to make more of an open choice or understanding that you are making choices. This could be just our subconscious can be making decisions for us and we are not even aware of it. But as soon as we go fishing down here and pull up some of these fish and look at them, then we can start actually making a conscious choice and a conscious decision about how we want to run our lives and what we want to do. So, and you are on the hunt for dealing with these subconscious issues. You are on the hunt for, look at this as a darkness too, right? But you're trying, you're working towards coming up. And so it's just, this is encouragement to continue bringing those subconscious issues to the fore, to the light, maybe seeing some therapists, talking about them, and then from there being aware of the choices that you have. Because we do have choices, and it's our greatest power. We don't always get to control the circumstances. We don't always get to control a lot of things. But what we do have is we always have a choice. And one of my least favorite phrases is I didn't have a choice. And it was, you always have a choice. They may be crappy choices, but you do always have a choice. And to say that you don't have a choice disempowers yourself. And you then create the not having a choice. That's on you. You always do have a choice. And if you can keep that in mind, that will help you feel empowered and more in control of your life. All right, Virgo, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for your likes and your lovely comments and your subscribes. I really enjoy you guys as subscribers, my subscribers are just really incredible, awesome people. And so thank you so much for being awesome. Hope you have a great week.